Another shit-eating grin for this guy, right? This guy, God, why does this guy smile for mugshots? Did somebody not pull him aside and say, look, I know you're not new to this, which is why it's surprising to me that you're continuing to smile for these mugshots. You're not supposed to smile for mugshots. Why are you doing that? Josh Duggar has been found guilty on all counts. So I wanted to go through this story of what happened with Josh Duggar exactly. Tell you guys from beginning to end why he's in jail and why he was found guilty and how much time he's looking at serving now. Because a lot of this information has changed as time has gone on. So I'm just going to start from the beginning and we'll go from there. The articles that I'm reading from are on the U.S. Sun. It's a completely terrible news outlet in most things. It's got a far-right bias, and its factual reporting is mixed. But I have fact-checked these articles, and they are the most comprehensive, and they are accurate. So I'm going to be using this media outlet, but this is probably one of the only times you'll ever see me using the U.S. Sun. It's fucking terrible in just about every other way, except for the Josh Duggar stories. So let's start with the first story. The title is What to Know About Josh Duggar's Scandal. This is written by Katrina Schollenberger. Joshua Duggar is best known for his appearances on the reality TV series 19 Kids and Counting and Counting On. It was revealed several years ago that he had been accused of multiple underage girls, including 4 of his sisters when he was 14 and 15. Holy shit. Yeah, that's what we're going to be dealing with in this episode. So let's start from March 2002. A 33-page police report reveals that Jim Bob Duggar, which is Josh Duggar's dad, told police that Josh and of several young victims while they were asleep in the Duggar family home. About 4 or 5 other incidents were reported. May 2002. Jim Bob Duggar, again, it's Josh's dad, loses a primary bid for the Republican Senate seat to Senator Tim Hutchinson in Arkansas. Yeah, Jim Bob was actually a politician, and shame on TLC, the network that hosted the TV show that got these people super famous, 19 Kids and Counting. Shame on them for enabling this horrifically terrible family, enabling them to make a ton of money and spread their theology even further, spread their terrible ideas even further. Shame on TLC for that. Duggar's policies condemned, deeming them capital crimes when he was a politician. July 2002, a police report revealed that Jim Bob explained that Josh told him about one of his victims while they were asleep on a sofa. Oh, that's not good. March 2003, Jim Bob and wife Michelle are made aware of 2 more incidents. Elders at the Duggar family church agreed that Josh needs treatment. Jim Bob tells cops that Josh Duggar went through a Christian counseling program from March 17th to July 17th, where he did manual labor and had counseling, according to the 2006 police report. Why does manual labor matter? I don't understand. What does manual labor have to do with anything? I don't want a Christian counseling program. They're fucking useless. I want a real psychology program. That's what I would like to see. I'd be willing to come out and say the reason that we're in this situation now where he's been found guilty and is facing 20 years behind bars is because they sent him to a Christian counseling program instead of a secular counseling program. Or just reported everything verbatim to the cops and have the cops actually do something about it rather than bury their head in the sand and give them special favors because of who they are. Again, this is still in March 2003. Josh's parents had church elders tell an Arkansas state trooper about the incidents after Josh completed his treatment. Jim Bob tells police that the state trooper, identified as Joseph Hutchins, gave Josh a very stern talk about what might happen if he continued such behavior. Wow, stern talk. Glad it was a stern talk. Did it do any good? Of course not. Dude is now facing 20 years. Of course it didn't do any good. Josh Duggar went on to offend even more and hurt even more people because this cop thought a very stern talk would do the trick. Joseph Hutchins is currently in jail on CP charges. Wow. The cop that talked to Josh, that gave him that very stern talk, is now in jail on the same charges that Josh Duggar faced. How about that shit? Isn't that interesting? September 2004, the Duggars appear on a Discovery Health special titled 14 Kids and Pregnant Again. December 2006, the Arkansas Child Abuse Hotline receives a tip that there is further child abuse happening in the Duggar household, and the Springdale Police Department reaches out to the family for interviews. The family was scheduled to appear on Oprah, but the interview was canceled after producers receive an email from an unnamed female that reported abuse from the Duggar household. Wow, Oprah canceled them? I'm surprised. She'll have just about any wingnut on her show, including Dr. Oz. She got Dr. Oz famous. Don't get me started on Oprah. We're here to talk about Josh Duggar. Harpo staff faxed the letter to the Department of Human Services hotline. Springdale police go on to interview Jim Bob and Michelle, victims and alleged perpetrator at Springdale Children's Safety Center in Arkansas. They determined that the time frame in which they could have pressed charges had expired, aka the statute of limitations ran up. Josh Duggar is actually about my age, roughly, so I know where I was in 2006. I was still in high school. I think I may have been in 10th grade or somewhere in there. 11th grade, maybe? So that's roughly where Josh Duggar was. December 2007. This was supposed to be my last year of school, so he was probably 18 at the time, or maybe 17. Mainstream outlets have yet to pick up on the abuse scandal, but message boards online are swirling with rumors about Josh Duggar's allegations, according to Gawker. December 2008. The first episode of 17 Kids and Counting premieres, now 19 Kids and Counting, on TLC. Oh, okay, so TLC actually started airing their episodes after everybody had already known about Josh Duggar and the whole situation, after he had already offended. TLC picked up the show. I don't know if TLC knew about his situation or not, but Josh Duggar had been fucking up for a while leading up to this. May 2015, we made a 7-year jump here. In Touch publishes an article detailing Josh Duggar's inappropriate sexual conduct toward minors when he was a teen. They also obtain a police report through a Freedom of Information request. Josh took to Facebook to apologize for the allegations, penning 12 years ago as a younger teenager, I acted inexcusably, for which I'm extremely sorry and deeply regret. I hurt others, including my family and close friends, he wrote in a statement. TLC cancels any rerun episodes of 19 Kids and Counting. Wow. Okay, well, I'm glad that that's what it took. I'm sorry TLC picked up the show in the first fucking place, considering how toxic and damaging these people's ideology is to society, but here we are. This is still in 2015. Arkansas police destroyed the 2006 police report. Springdale police spokesman Scott Lewis tells the AP that Judge Stacy Zimmerman ordered the 2006 offense report destroyed. Major retailers like Walgreens, General Mills, and Choice Hotels pulled their advertisements from the show. Joseph Hutchins tells In Touch that Jim Bob hid the extent of Josh's alleged abuse. June 2015. So this is the following month. Jim Bob and Michelle appear on television for the first time since news of Josh's abuse allegations broke. The Duggar parents confirmed that 4 of Josh's victims were their daughters, including young Jill and Jessa. This guy needs to be behind bars until the day he dies, for the safety of society. I don't always feel that way about things. I think jail is a bad place and only makes a bad situation worse. I would like to rehabilitate people, help them get back on their feet, and solve the problems that led to this type of thing in the first place. For the most part, that's what I want to do. In this guy's case, in Josh Duggar's case, there is no fixing this. He has proven that he is going to offend over and over again until the day he dies. And for that reason, I want him in jail until the day he dies. I want him in jail for the rest of his life. I don't want him to know freedom ever again. Unfortunately, for the safety of others. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to be the case. He will most likely get out sooner than we want. And I'm going to talk about the charges and how long he has in jail, most likely, and the next steps and all that stuff. I'll talk about it in a minute. But I want to finish the timeline first, so let's continue. This is still June 2015. The couple argues that Josh's record should have never been released under the FOIA, and they threatened to sue. July 2015, TLC cancels 19 Kids and Counting. I thought they had already canceled it. I guess they canceled rerun episodes. Yeah, TLC cancels rerun episodes. So now they just straight up canceled the whole show, apparently, in July of 2015, 2 months later. After thoughtful consideration, TLC and the Duggar family have decided to not move forward with 19 Kids and Counting, a statement on the network's website says. The recent attention around the Duggars has sparked a critical and important conversation about child protection, it continued. The network claimed it plans to release a 1-hour special featuring the Duggars and some of the families affected by the abuse. August 2015, the following month, a Gawker report claimed that Josh was using adultery-promoting dating service Ashley Madison and that he'd been unfaithful to his wife Anna. Forgot about that shit. You guys remember the Ashley Madison hack? It was that website where you'd go to if you wanted to basically cheat on your spouse. Yeah, Josh Duggar was caught on Ashley Madison. This dude cannot hold it together. Josh owned up to the claims. I've been the biggest hypocrite ever. Yeah, tell me about it, buddy. While espousing faith and family values, I've secretly, over the last several years, been viewing on the internet, and this has become a secret addiction, and I became unfaithful to my wife, said a statement from Josh Duggar via DuggarFamily.com. Is Counting On still on air? TLC reality show Counting On has been canceled after almost 6 years following Josh Duggar's arrest on CP charges. The Sun can exclusively reveal. The shocking news comes after fans launched a petition to boycott Counting On, as horrifying details of Josh's CP arrest emerged. An insider told The Sun exclusively the decision was made by TLC earlier this week to cancel the show. Here's another subheading. Was Josh Duggar arrested in April 2021? The Sun exclusively learned that fired reality star Josh, 33, was taken into custody in Arkansas on April 29, 2021. The incident is related to the 2019 Homeland Security raid on his now-shuttered used car dealership in Springdale, Arkansas, a source claimed. In November 2019, Homeland Security investigations concluded an ongoing federal investigation at the lot, but no charges were filed against Josh. Until now. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of background on what's going on now. Basically, Josh Duggar downloaded some CP to the work computer at his car dealership, at his office. But the thing is, he went to great lengths to hide it. His wife knew he was caught on the Ashley Madison app, knew that he had been prone to cheating, among other things that I don't need to mention here. So she had this program installed on the computer called Covenant Eyes. It's this Christian program. It basically alerts your spouse anytime you log onto the computer. It'll take random screenshots and send them to your spouse just so that they know what you're doing on the computer and you can't, get away with anything while you're on there. So what Josh Duggar did to kind of sidestep that is he created a Linux partition on the computer. Basically, took the hard drive, split it into 2 pieces, and he installed a different operating system on the one side, and he kept Windows on there with Covenant Eyes on the other side, completely separate from each other. So he was running Linux on this side, and Covenant Eyes wasn't running while he was using Linux. So when he got on the computer, he logged on to Linux and he used Tor browser, which is a super privacy-oriented browser that prevents anybody from tracking what you're doing or seeing any of this or whatever else. Thing is, when he downloaded the CP that they're talking about here, it was actually bugged by the government. That CP was. When he downloaded it, it had a bug in it, and it reported his IP address back to the government. So they performed a raid on the office and took the computer and took his phone and everything else. His defense, which was actually pretty clever, his defense was, it wasn't me, it was a hacker. I wasn't there. I wasn't even at the computer. I wasn't using it. A hacker logged in and started downloading stuff to my computer. That's a solid defense, right? That's actually really smart. That was a good idea. Well, guess what? Josh Duggar's alleged text messages prove he was at the car lot when the CSA material was downloaded. Another article released on thesun.com. This came out December 3rd, 2021. Let's give this one a read. Josh Duggar's alleged text messages help prove he was at the car lot when CSA material was downloaded back in May 2019. The former Counting On star is currently on trial in Fayetteville, Arkansas for 2 counts of CP stemming from his April 2021 arrest. Look at the shit-eating grin on his face. The incident is related to the 2019 Homeland Security raid on his now-shuttered used car dealership in Springdale, Arkansas. Prosecutor William Clayman went through various dates in court on Friday with witness James Fottrell, who is Director of Department of Justice for Child Exploitation. The alleged text from Josh's phone, as well as photos taken on the device, were shown to take place at the same time that CP content was supposedly being downloaded at wholesale motor cars. How about that shit? You want to tell me about that hacking story again, Josh? Let's hear it. Go ahead, tell me. Tell me about how your computer was hacked and it wasn't really you. The alleged text discussed cars and some included photos of vehicles from the lot. A program used in court showed that the location of where the photos were taken was at the used car dealership. On May 11th, 2019, texts were sent from Josh's phone to his employee Joshua Williams at 5:58 p.m. and 5:59 p.m. discussing a car. Photos were sent from the car lot at the same time as well. On the same day, Linux Ubuntu was installed on the computer to create the partition at 5:47 p.m., according to testimony at the trial. So 5:47 p.m., Linux was installed on the computer. 5:58 p.m., Josh was texting at the car lot about a used car. They've got him dead to rights. There is no wiggling out of this one. Let's keep reading. On May 13th, 2019, a photo was taken on Josh's iPhone at 3:06 p.m. at the car lot. Soon after, Tor browser, which, as I mentioned, Tor browser is this privacy-oriented browser that goes through a number of different nodes to protect your privacy and your security and everything else. It normally would have worked for this, most likely. The reason it didn't is because the government had the file bugged that he downloaded, and it sent a message back to the government, basically, that somebody had downloaded this, and it sent the information to him. Soon after, Tor browser to access the dark web was downloaded. Then on May 14th, 2019, photos were taken at the car lot at 4:14 p.m., 4:20 p.m., and 4:25 p.m., and 6:01 p.m. In one of the photos, those in court could see a person's reflection in the computer screen wearing a wholesale motorcar's hat. Then at 4:49 p.m., a text from Josh's phone read, "Got stuck here," referring to the car lot. Torrent files were downloaded on the Linux partition side of the computer soon after at 5:28 p.m. and 5:38 p.m. that depicted two explicit videos, according to the testimony. More photos from the car lot were taken on the phone at 6:04 p.m. and 6:07 p.m. Just a couple hours later, at 8:14 p.m., photos on Josh's phone showed him and his wife Anna shopping for doors at Lowe's. What a weird thing to shop for. They even took a selfie where Josh, 33, was wearing the same hat seen in the reflection of the computer screen earlier in the day. On May 15th, a text from Josh's phone read at 5:01 p.m., "I'm here," and at 5:08 p.m., "We'll be here till 6. CP videos and images were downloaded at 5:22, 5:25, 5:30, 5:32, and 5:41 p.m. They've got the dude dead to rights. There is no wiggling out of this. You know, I'm going to talk about this in a little while, but he was actually offered a plea deal. He was offered 10 years, and he rejected it because he thought he would get out of it. He thought he could claim somebody hacked the computer and put the stuff there to frame him or something. Who fucking knows? And it failed. The jury saw right through it. Chem Panda. Small correction, it wasn't technically a plea deal, it was a sentence recommendation from the prosecution. We don't know what the plea deal would have been, if at all. Emily D. Baker has a good vid on it. Oh, okay, my mistake. I could have sworn it was a plea deal that he was offered, but maybe you're right. If anyone has any more information in the comments, then please post a comment about, any updates to the case or anything, and I'll pin it. Similar evidence was shown for May 16, 2019 as well. During the questioning at the trial on Friday, James alleged to the prosecutor Josh Duggar was at the car lot every time CP was downloaded. This is a news station reporting the day that all of this went down. Check this out. This came out early December.
Here is Josh Duggar's latest mugshot as he was booked into the Washington County Jail earlier today.
Another shit-eating grin for this guy, right? This guy, God, why does this guy smile for mugshots? Did somebody not pull him aside and say, look, I know you're not new to this, which is why it's surprising to me that you're continuing to smile for these mugshots. You're not supposed to smile for mugshots. Why are you doing that?
And here is a surveillance video from inside the jail as he was booked. Duggar could face up to 20 years in federal prison, and his sentencing will not be for another 4 months.
Okay, let me summarize something here real quick. You'll notice on the bottom, the Chiron, I think it's called, jury finds Josh Duggar guilty on both charges. It was 2 charges for possession of CP. Each one holds a sentence of 20 years. I believe it's a mandatory minimum of 5 and a maximum of 20 per charge, and he was found guilty on both charges. But I'm not super clear on why this is. They can only sentence for one of the charges. Grace Balzer, the charge for downloading the CP was the greater charge. The second charge of having the CP will be stayed. 5-year minimum, 20-year maximum. There you go. There's the answer. Thank you so much for that super chat. They can only apply those sentences for one charge. He's basically looking at 5 to 20 years. He'll probably get somewhere in between that. I'm guessing he'll probably be sentenced to 12 years, most likely. 15 if we're lucky. And after half that time, he's usually eligible for parole, depending on the charge and the system that he's in, so on and so forth. So if we're lucky, we're looking at him probably serving 7.5 years in, and then 7.5 more years on paper. If we're not lucky, he may just get 5 years in and possibly only serve 2.5 of that. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not 100% sure. There are lawyers out there talking about this, so go to them for the legal explanation of it. But that's my understanding of it currently. If somebody has more information, then please post it in the comments and I'll pin it to the top. Let's keep listening to the news.
Duggar's attorney, Justin Gelfand, had a very short statement as he left the courthouse.
We very much appreciate the jury's lengthy deliberations. We respect the jury's verdict, and we look forward to continuing this fight on appeal. We have no more comment at this time.
And take a look at this video of Duggar's wife, Anna, Jim Bob, and other family members walking out of the courthouse today. No one said anything. They just walked to an SUV and drove away.
Now, the defense says throughout this entire case that the prosecution was just looking to get a celebrity down for this kind of crime. Starstruck, rather.
I'm sorry, the prosecution was just trying to get a celebrity down for this crime? Is that what they said? Well, if the celebrity didn't commit that crime, then they couldn't get somebody for it, right? I mean, they're not coming after Brad Pitt for doing this because he didn't fucking do it.
The prosecution had a direct response for that statement.
First and foremost shows that no person is above the law, regardless of their status in society, regardless of their wealth, regardless of their fame.
Honestly, no, it doesn't fucking show that. I don't know where this guy pulled that out of. That's not factual in any way. Of course people are above the law. They're not supposed to be in the United States, but guess what? They are. Just look at Donald Trump, for example. Dude has broken who knows how many fucking laws, and he's not facing a single consequence for any of them. There are people that are above the law. A lot of people, a lot of ex-presidents have broken the law flagrantly and not faced a single day in prison. Not one single consequence for their actions. And I'm not just talking about presidents. There are a lot of people out there who never face consequences for their actions because they have the money or the fame, the power, the pull to bury it. It's fucking disgusting. And this one case specifically, as I talked about earlier, this shit has been going on since 2002. How many victims does this guy have? At least bare minimum 5. We know of at least 5. It took the federal government catching him doing something on Linux, downloading this stuff, to finally put him in jail. This started in 2002. Here we are in 2021, and something's finally happening. 19 years later? Are you fucking kidding me? It took 19 years and 4 or 5 victims? The victims aren't even the ones that are getting justice. They're not getting shit. This is all over what he downloaded 2 years ago. I don't feel that the victims are getting justice here because nothing happened as a result of what he did to them. You harm 4 or 5 real people in real life and nothing happens for 19 years until you reoffend. It honestly does not show me that even the rich and powerful have to face consequences. Doesn't show me that at all.
This case shows that no person is above the law.
Now, in the courtroom today, there was response from the family. Jana Duggar, his wife, did knee buckle a little bit, was teared up, and was devastated by this. The family was silent for the rest of the time and left the courtroom quietly.
So yeah, that's the situation we're in now. That's where we're at. That's where Josh Duggar is now. Dude is facing 5 to 20 years, basically. And I'm guessing he's probably going to serve about 7 years inside, and then he's going to be released. So he'll be about 40 years old when he gets out. He's 33 right now, I think, somewhere in there. Absolute best case scenario. Best case. He gets the full 20, and he only serves 10. And he'll get parole after 10 years. So best case scenario, he'll be out when he's like 45, pretty much. That's what we're looking at right now. That doesn't really feel like justice to me, fully. I'm glad they caught him. I'm glad this is going to be on his record and all that other stuff, but the dude is still filthy rich. Filthy rich. If anybody could get into a minimum security, cushy prison with whatever he wants, it's this guy. It's a fucking shame. Let's read the article. Duggar, 33, had been arrested and charged earlier this year with receiving and possession of CP. The jury reached its verdict and found him guilty on Thursday morning after beginning deliberations on Wednesday afternoon. The ex-TLC star now faces up to 20 years behind bars on each guilty count. He's expected to be sentenced in 4 months. So we're looking at basically March or April of 2022 when we can expect to hear how long he's actually going to get. It's a little bit of a wait, but I'll cover all this again when the time comes. Josh's lawyer said Thursday they plan to appeal the case. Of course. I wouldn't expect any differently. Any good lawyer would appeal this. It's going to fail. I'm sure of it. As a matter of fact, the jury actually had to watch, from my understanding, the CP that he downloaded. Imagine that. They had to watch the shit to understand what they were deliberating on. I hope the courtroom gives them therapy after what they had to go through for this trial. Thank you guys for your service to the jury who convicted Josh Duggar, seriously. Many members of the Duggar family sat in on the trial, offering support to the fallen family member. Siblings Jana, Jason, Joanna, her husband Austin Forsyth, Justin, Jessa, Jill, and Jill's husband, Derek Dillard. God, all the fucking alliterations are driving me nuts. Along with Father Jim Bob were all present at some point. Josh's wife, Anna, was also repeatedly seen arriving at court with her husband during the trial. Such a sad situation that so many people were hurt by this guy. It's so fucking sad. But wait, there is more. The title to this article is Jana Duggar charged with endangering the welfare of a minor. FYI, as far as I know, these are completely unconnected, these two cases. But as soon as Josh Duggar was convicted, soon as the verdict came through, basically, this article came out about his sister, Jana Duggar. So let's give it a read. Northwest Arkansas, Jana Duggar, 31, was charged with endangering the welfare of a minor, 3rd degree, this fall, according to a filing in the Washington County District Court, Elm Springs Department. Duggar, the former reality star and younger sister of recently convicted Joshua Duggar, was cited for a misdemeanor on September 9th. She was released on $430 bail. She'd pleaded not guilty and has a court date set for January 10th, 2022. This is a developing story and will be updated. Oh my God. This family just cannot hold it together, can they? What the hell is going on right now? Again, I don't know what Jana Duggar did. It remains to be seen, but $430 bail in a misdemeanor isn't that high. It's not terrible, so it's not even worth speculating about. We shouldn't be speculating because we have no information on it, but time will tell what happens. This family needs to pull it together. True conservative Christians, right? Conservative values at the heart of their lives. Finally, after 19 years of offending, finally, justice is served in some small way. Lord Falconis, I hope this is only the beginning for Clan Duggar. I would love it if more of the crimes that they've committed would come out. And from my understanding, as a matter of fact, I meant to mention this earlier, Jim Bob Duggar is running for office again. He's running again right now. What a terrible fucking time for this. Yeah, this is Jim Bob Duggar's campaign website. A tested and unwavering conservative Why I'm running. It's time for conservatives to demand courageous leadership. What does the Bible say? Something about getting your own household in order before running something or other. I don't know what it says. Somebody finish that for me. I'm running for state senate because these are unprecedented times in our nation. Yeah, tell me about it. Now more than ever, we need a bold voice that is pro-family, pro-business, pro-gun, and pro-life. Wow, man. What do you even say? What do you even say about this shit? Jesus Christ.